I've ridden on some bad bike lanes in my life. Crappy painted bike lanes that just disappear on you. But it wasn't until recently that I was able to ride on a bike lane that was twice named the worst bike lane in the world. But I survived to tell you the tale. Hey everybody, I'm Tom and this is Shifter, a channel about urban cycling, bike commuting, and the ways we get around our cities. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing or becoming a Shifter member. There's a link in a description down below. So Edinburgh, Scotland is a great city. It's got amazing people and a rich history and great things to see and do. And over the last few years, the city has been trying to make inroads into making it a little bit better for people on bikes. But like a lot of other cities, it's encountered problems politically and logistically. But a few years ago, a breakthrough happened. On one of the city's most important streets, a bike lane was built. I mean, this is great news, right? It's a big step towards enabling people to live without a car, to getting us away from our auto-dependent ways, to make the streets more livable and better for the environment and all that good stuff that comes with bike lanes. The problem was the bike lane was pretty bad. In fact, it was pretty terrible. It was so terrible that soon after, a website described it as the worst bike lane in the world. And then it made the same declaration the following year. The website's called The Discerning Cyclist, and here's how it described the moronic bike lane on Litelok in Edinburgh. This one gets our goat. This isn't something you'd expect to deal with when driving a car along the road, so why do cyclists have to put up with this kind of ill-thought-out infrastructure? And so you know I had to go give this bike lane a try, and I'm sad to report that that description is pretty accurate. And so it made me wonder how this thing came to be. And so I reached out to a Edinburgh bicycle advocacy organization called Spokes, and Alex Robb agreed to tell me the story. And the story begins with the way the cycling culture of Edinburgh has evolved over the last couple of decades.
For building cycle lanes, we have some really archaic bureaucratic processes in Scotland and the UK. Just a few people can hold up projects for years and years. So the projects that you're seeing on the ground now, like on Melville Street, we call that the City Centre West East Link. That started planning a decade ago. So we're seeing that slowly change, but it's been a really tough battle to get where we're going now and where we're seeing results on the street.
So amid all that slow progress, it was a big deal when Rob told me a few years ago the city decided to move forward with a big project on one of the city's most important streets called Litelok. Now it's a long, connected, important route that's also a really important shopping street, and so a project to put a tram on that street was welcomed all over the place. And with that came pedestrian improvements as well. But for Rob and a lot of other people in the city, that wasn't quite good enough. With such improvements, a failure to add bike lanes seemed like a real missed opportunity to give people a better way of getting around the city and make the city more efficient and connected. What they asked for was not a tram project, but a complete street. A street that considers people, not just those in automobiles. And so after much lobbying, they won. The city agreed to put bike lanes on the street. But I had a chance to ride the bike lane that resulted, and let me tell you, it's a bit of a doozy. It zigs and zags all over the place. There are bus stops along it. It's also built at the same grade as the pedestrian space with not like a real clear delineation between the space. And so I was constantly worried about missing one of those zigzags and ending up on the sidewalk. And then pedestrians were constantly wandering into the bike lane, not aware of what they were doing. So it really felt like not a great experience if you're just trying to get somewhere safely on your bike. And yeah, even Rob agrees that the bike lane is pretty bad.
It could have been a lot worse. I'm not saying it's great, but it's not that bad. But what we've ended up with is really a result of trying to please everyone. Because there's quite a few stretches of Leaf Walk, particularly at the top. It's pretty good, I have to say. You've got wide pavements, bike lanes, tram tracks. But where it really struggles is where there's loading bays, bus stops, car lanes, bike lanes, pavements. And again, it comes back to that political thing we talked about earlier. Now, it's so difficult to say, well, actually, no, maybe you can't drive your car in this part, or maybe you need to load your business a little bit further away, just around the corner. It's so much easier just to try and squeeze them in. But when you do that, everyone's unhappy.
I think that's such a great point to make. This is a great example of one of those projects that tries to please everybody, but then ends up pleasing nobody. Funnily enough, despite the terrible bike lane that was built, it's still being used. The city of Edinburgh recently reported that the average number of bikes on that route in May was 1,800 people a day, which is up from 800 in 2022. So despite all of that, the number of people using it has more than doubled. That probably just shows there's just so much pent-up demand. But there's a bigger story here. The city of Edinburgh seems to have used this project as a teachable moment. When I was there, I also got to ride a brand new bike lane that had just been completed, and I'm happy to report that it is so much better than that one on Litelok. Now, this route was straight and connected and clearly separated from both motorists and pedestrians, and it just felt like a dream to ride on it. It was the safe kind of route that you don't even have to think about. You just feel safe and you ride and it gets you where you need to go. It was great.
That's what we're trying to work towards. We're trying to work to really high quality cycling that people just feel comfortable just to go straight in, even with themselves, with kids, to get to school. We're trying to make it really accessible and as high quality as possible. But obviously that's so far it's taken a lot of time to get to that. And so many consultations and asking everybody. Government's often quite bad at actually getting to the action part of achieving those. And so we're realizing now that if we want to, for example, we want to reduce vehicle kilometers by 30% in the city, we can't just talk about it for 10 years. We have to actually, go and start doing it. And that's one of the things I'm excited about, that we can do this approach.
So is the Litelok the worst bike lane in the world? Well, probably not. There are all kinds of half-hearted, thoughtless, box-checking bike lanes out there. You probably have some in your city. And the worst part about those ones is that they will probably stay that way for a long time. But that's not the case in Edinburgh. The city is actually now talking about going back and fixing that bike lane. It was actually designed and built by a contractor, and the city is going to hold them responsible for the deficiencies in this bike lane, which I think is a great story. I mean, even the fact that a city acknowledged that it didn't do a great job and is going to try to clean up its mess, I think that's a pretty bold decision, pretty brave, and we should see more of that. And after all of that, Rob said he's feeling more optimistic about the future of cycling in Edinburgh than he has in a long time.
People complain, of course, about the bike lanes, but they're still protected. They're still there so that, you see people with kids and families cycling uphill there that would never have done that before. And I think that's great. And they have their flaws, but I think it's optimistic that, it's showing what's possible and we can be even better.
It's such a great city. It's compact and it's got great density and so many cool things to see that cycling can really be an important part of that city in lots of different ways. Rob sees so much potential to move away from the automobile, and cycling can be a huge part of that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.